Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of SquaredTriangle. We are back in the saddle for it's one of those occasions, especially during WrestleMania season, where we get like 2 episodes back to back, and then we get another 2 episodes back to back,
Yeah.
and we get another two, and then
few
we're
weeks
done until like fall.
Yeah, a few weeks
Welcome
break.
to WrestleMania season.
Yeah.
2 episodes, and I think it's like the next 2 months we're having like multiple episodes back to back until we get to realistically like at least 1 or 2 a month, but they're spaced out a little bit better. So
Yep.
But this
this is AEW
Revolution. New presentation too. I looked at everything. It lost like the neon green like cyber style to it and had more of a I guess more of like
it's not something of a cyberized. It just wasn't as in your face.
Yeah.
It was almost like a mix of the old and new sets per se.
Yeah.
You know, they had the new video walls, but you can clearly see that they had the old setup from like years ago.
Yeah, and a new logo for the event too. So they're doing some brand adjustments. I think trying to make everything kind of feel distinct.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a total of 9 matches on the main card, with I think 3.5 matches on the pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-show was pretty good. I caught most of the matches. Like nothing crazy, but it's just very fun pre-show matches to get the crowd, excited. And then
it's interesting to see Alex Abrahantes still kind of being that liaison for the primarily Spanish-speaking wrestlers. He came out with Hologram.
Yeah, he came out with Hologram. And I think it was, I can't remember. Was that the tag match?
Commander.
Yeah, him and Commander.
Yeah, that was him and Commander
match against Lee Johnson and Blake Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good match. Commander gets the win. I mean, he's currently, the Ring of Honor, currently a Ring of Honor champion. So, it's nice seeing him get a win. And Commander's great. Like, he's always been a strong luchador on the card. We had what was supposed to be a match with Chris Jericho and Gravity. But before the match, Jericho and his boys beat down Gravity. Bandito comes out to make the save. Those two, Gravity and Bandito, being actual brothers. The match doesn't happen as both luchadors are beat down. Their mom gets involved. He unmasks Gravity. So it's definitely building to what I hope is a Bandito Ring of Honor championship run. Honestly.
I hope so.
But it is definitely feeling like a Bandito Jericho feud in a way. But yeah, so glad there wasn't a match, but there's still a Jericho segment to at least have him on the card, which is unfortunate. But aside from that, then we had a nice little fun multi-man tag match with the celebrity match, Big Boom, AJ, Orange Cassidy, and Mark Briscoe against Johnny TV and Eminem Collection. Great comedy match. A lot of fun spots.
Right.
Like the pose they hit, and then the pose when they hit the pose, and Orange Cassidy came out and just did his thumbs up between them.
Yeah,
it was great. But I mean, it's a pre-show. Not really a lot of, just some fun stuff to get people hyped for the main card. But you and I watched that Big Boom AJ match, Deca.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, I mean, I'm kind of digging it, as like what it is. Significantly sports entertained.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said. I'm sufficiently sports entertained. I enjoyed it. It was nice. It was like a fun little break before they hit us in the face with the opening match.
Yeah, so that's the final match on the pre-show card, and then we go right from like a very fun comedy match, very just fun match with a celebrity in it. And I'm using that term just a celebrity. It's a non-wrestler who's in the wrestling capacity.
Well, AJ's a wrestler, but they did get those two other guys.
Yeah. And yeah, then the main card starts and it just punches in the face from the get-go. Starting us off with Hangman Adam Page and MJF. And good lord, these two had a great opening match to this card.
Yeah. MJF, the feuds that MJF has, they work because he wants them to.
Yeah, he gave a shit during this match.
When he give, like, he's the typical, like, prototypical, like, 20-something-year-old gifted kid from, you know, those of us who are gifted kids. Yeah. Those of us who are gifted kids growing up have that, like, as long as I care, I'm gonna knock this out of the park. And that is exactly what MJF has. And
these two just wrestled a great match. Like,
yes.
Just no stipulation, no title, just a one-on-one singles match for two guys that have only had one-on-one match in the past for the almost 6 years that this company has existed.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild to think that they haven't crossed paths more than this. And
yeah.
You know, this chemistry is great.
Yeah, it really is. And one of the things that kind of stood out in this match was MJF projecting his insecurities on the Hangman Page.
Oh, the character work was great.
The character work in this match was great. He was just basically playing off the fact that the crowd, despite Hangman's flaws, keep choosing him. And it kind of got to him in the middle of this match. And I don't know. I hope that kind of, you know, leads towards maybe another MJF face run in the future, but a proper one, because he's trying to, you know, maybe win over the crowd some.
I could see like a storyline of MJF trying to not cheat being a pretty funny like face run.
Well, he was doing that. He was doing that with Adam Cole.
Yeah, but like that, we also kind of knew where all that was going to go. It's like just I want to see. Let's get it away from the Adam Cole stuff. That's just like a stain on that timeline. Man fell 2 feet and shattered his whole foot. Man jumped off a thing, shattered his ankle, lost a year of storyline progress.
But yeah, I'm just kind of interested to see, you know, what this goes, how forward this goes with the Hangman MJF feud. You know, I'm just kind of interested to see how this goes and where they take it.
I think it's going to be interesting to see where Hangman goes specifically, considering that by the end of tonight we have Swerve and Moxley for the world title. I think Hangman's going to have some stuff to say about that. So that would be interesting, especially considering how he and fucking Moxley had heat like in their storyline in the past too. It's like two men that Hangman hates are in the world title picture right now.
It's great.
But in this match too, some really good moments, you know, the character moments of MJF having a crash out of like, why do they keep choosing you? The pile driver onto the chair on the outside was like the best spot in this match. Like, it was so good.
The camera angle to get it to where it looks like MJF hit the chair.
Yeah.
Wow. Chef's kiss.
And then Hangman finishes the match after hitting a Deadeye into a rough looking Angel's wings, just slamming MJF's face onto the mat. And then hits a buckshot.
I had to watch that one a couple of times to make sure he didn't just land on his neck.
Yeah, I mean, even like after he landed it, like Hangman had that look on his face, like, oh shit.
It's
like, oh damn, man, my bad.
You really can't protect yourself with that move, though. Like that, it is really ultimately up to the person doing it to protect you. So
yeah, because you have like both arms behind your back, so there's really not much you can do to protect yourself.
You can bring your head up, and that's about it.
And that's about it. MJF took that pretty hard though, but I'm glad he's all right though.
Yeah.
Hangman picks up the win. And the thing is, like, I like MJF because even losing matches and feuds doesn't hurt him. Like, everybody still gives him respect as a face or a heel. Like, even if he could lose everything, he's still entertaining enough that the crowd loves him. Like, he's just talented all around. So I don't think he's going to be hurt by this. It's just you're probably going to throw him into like another small feud where he can get like wins back and stuff like that. But him against these big stars, it brings out the best in him, and he makes everybody else look great. Like, he's a great professional wrestler.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, a fun little opening match. And they did it in like, what, 15 minutes? You have the card up?
Yeah.
15, 20.
It was 19 minutes. So,
19 minutes?
Okay.
Perfect. and it never felt like it slowed down or anything. Like there was a lot that constantly happened, and it felt fresh throughout the entire thing. It was cool because I think we're seeing MJF also like technical wrestle a little bit too during the match, which was cool to see. Moving on from that match, we go into match number 2 of the night for the TBS Championship. It is Mercedes versus Momo Watanabe. And I think we talked about it during the show. If you can give Mercedes bigger opponents that can just throw her around, she wrestles better matches. Barring the Chris Statlander one, I just don't think there was a lot of chemistry in the ring for that one. But I think Mercedes been at her best when she's been manhandled for most of the match by stronger opponents.
Yes.
Momo was great. I mean, she was great in this match. A lot of offense early on for the most part, and it was only towards the end of the match where, you know, Mercedes was able to get the momentum back and retain. There was a funny moment. Mercedes tried to hit the Three Amigos. The crowd booed. Momo went to hit the Three Amigos. The crowd cheered. And I thought that was pretty funny.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
This was less stardom than I was expecting it to be.
It was less stardom than I was expecting. I expected
them to beat the shit out of each other.
I was expecting Momo to be hard hitting, but they definitely wrestled this more like a standard, I want to probably say like American style wrestling match. But I liked it. Yeah. It was a fun match.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it kind of went on a little too long for me though, but you know, I thought it was a really fun match. Mercedes is really great at selling. And that's why, you know, you put her against stronger opponents, she just sells the shit out of it because she's just fantastic at doing that, you know. And that's one of the things people don't talk about when it comes to Mercedes Moné. She can make anybody look good.
She's another one where she has to like be invested in the feud as well.
Yeah.
Because we saw that a lot in WWE as well when, you know, she was going against Charlotte. It really sucked for various reasons, but like.
But her and Bailey, you know, even in NXT, like when they gave a shit about the feud.
Her and Bailey tore it down.
Like, you have to give a shit about, I guess, the feud you're in to really commit to it. And it's unfortunate because as a wrestler, you know, there's going to be times where you're put into a feud with somebody and you're like, I don't particularly care, but, you know, it's our job. So let's go do it.
Yeah.
But it's still hard to like invest yourself in it each week.
And when you don't, it shows up on TV and everybody notices it.
Yeah. Fuck, what was the... It's like anything with like, I don't know if it's Jericho not caring about his feuds or if it's nobody caring about being in a feud with Jericho, but it seems like all of his feuds kind of suck now too.
It seems like honestly, it seems like a little bit of both, to be honest, because
Jericho is in the very right-wing way that Chris Irvin is as a person. He swears up and down that the go home heat isn't real.
Yeah,
that he's not he's not beating the allegations is all I'm saying.
That's kind of why I want Bandito to win and get the title if this feud goes in that direction.
No, because it's like he's been in multiple groups since in the 5 years AEW has been out, and you know, almost every member of that group has not had any kind of positive investment out of it, except maybe Daniel Garcia, who's a current TNT champion. It's just, for me at this point in Jericho's career, it's just kind of hard for me to get invested in his matches. It's normally the same run-of-the-mill stuff. It's boring to me.
Yeah,
it really is.
Side note, for Daniel Garcia, he was on the pre-show with Undisputed Kingdom, taking on Shane Taylor Promotion in the Infantry. They got the win after Daniel Garcia tagged himself in order to get the pin and then had a stare down against Adam Cole. We're going to get Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole probably for the TNT title. And I'm kind of digging that feud if that happens. Like, that seems like it'd be kind of fun.
I kind of fuck with it. It's not even necessarily like a heel versus heel thing. It's just, I'm the better person and I want the title.
Yeah, there was like a very intense stare down. Like, Garcia acting a little heelish about it too, which is
a little bit
cool to see.
Daniel Garcia hitting the what is it called? Dragon Slayer.
Yeah. He hit the Dragon Slayer, then he got up and did his dance on the railing on the outside after they finished.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's just a little sidetrack to bring it up since we brought up Daniel Garcia. He was on this card, him and Adam Cole, and their feud seems to be building now.
Good, I can't wait for that.
And let's talk about feuds that people give a shit about. Swerve and Ricochet.
Oh man,
this match had ups and downs, and we were like, "Oh my god, is this happening? Like, is he turning on him? Like a bunch of stuff in this match."
There was a lot of will he won't he in this match, and it was
really good.
It was for the number. It was a number one contender.
Match
for the AEW World Title. And my thing about that is that kind of felt like it was to the side because the main story in the match itself was about the coat.
It is about Jimmy Rave's robe that Ricochet has stolen. He's changed it, put his own little 8 on the back of it, which is big heel.
Yeah.
Yep. And a lot of the teasing in this match comes from Swerve kind of letting his frustrations get the best of him and putting hands on Nana. And we're like, oh shit, like, are they finally going to break them up? But it's all a ruse, as we'll see later in the match. And it turns into more greatness between all three of these guys about this robe. Like, they're telling such a good story about a robe. It's believable too, considering like the real life, implications of it.
Right.
Ricochet being his comedy heel a little bit in this match too. Still being kind of funny at times, while Swerve, has his constant seriousness about him. So yeah, Nana comes back in at some point in this match after leaving Swerve. After Swerve, I think, shoved him on the outside, if I remember correctly. He storms off.
Yeah, he did.
Comes back, gets the robe out of the corner while Ricochet and Swerve are busy. Turns into this whole thing in the corner where Swerve almost slams into Nana, goes up on top, takes a nasty spill on the outside. Or that might have been before or after. But basically, they're still fighting over this this robe. Swerve and Nana do eventually collide. But it is still not enough to get the pin. And Swerve hits house call into big pressure, getting the pin over Ricochet and becoming the number one contender in a really, really good match.
It was a very competitive match. I would have been...
Either guy could have won this
match. Either guy could have won, and it would have made sense both in the storyline and it would have also made sense in like the grander scheme of things in AEW. I think either one of these guys could have been a world title contender with this match.
I think he just had. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, it just could have gone either way. Who would have thought Ricochet would turn out to be this great of a heel? I really feel like this should have been taken as an opportunity earlier.
Yeah.
Ricochet is just a great foil to Swerve.
Yes.
And he annoys this man at every turn. He's a thorn in his side at every turn. And it really showed in this match. And I think that's what made this match a little better. That deep-seated personal rivalry between the two.
I think what we've learned is that because the Swerve is aura farming every time you see him.
That's
what he does.
The thing I was going to say for that is like, I think either guy could have won this, but I think Swerve is just the bigger star you have right now.
Yes,
he is the ticket seller. Him versus Moxley for the title, that is going to sell Dynasty tickets.
Oh yeah,
100%.
And according to most people who I read on socials, everybody's praying for Swerve to win this title. And I hope he does too. Because,
after the finish of this pay-per-view, which we will get to, I think it's time to just get the belt off of Moxley. Please.
I think
God.
so.
I need them to get that off of Skinhead Peter Griffin.
Yeah, Skinhead Peter Griffin.
Skinhead Peter Griffin.
Don't give Cornette new things to call him.
No, let's just keep Cornette busy with filming movies right now. He seems to be good at that.
Anyway, what I was going to say is that Swerve works best when he's just the serious guy, just aura farming, and you've got like an unserious person like either on his side like Nana is or against him like Ricochet is.
Yeah. And I think a lot of this also comes from just their elongated history that they have. These two guys were in Lucha Underground. They've wrestled probably a lot on the indie scene before either of them got picked up by WWE. So it's just a lot of history. Because I mean, Ricochet's been doing this for fucking so long, almost 15, 18 years, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere along those lines.
So like all of these guys have probably crossed paths, more than once. And if you click with somebody, I can imagine it's like every time you wrestle, it's like, let's do it again. Like
we don't have to imagine. We've seen it in wrestling all the time.
And I mean, it's just like, I can't remember. Did Prince Puma and Killshot ever cross in Lucha Underground?
That I cannot remember, but I think they may have at one point. I'm not sure.
Yeah. But like, these guys definitely wrestle great together. Their styles are kind of similar, but you also have Ricochet, kind of being the high flyer, and Swerve being not like technical, but also not lucha. He's kind of a mix of like different styles, it feels like. I think that's
Swerve is a product of all of the places he's gone to, like Lucha Underground, WWE, AEW, all of his time in the indies. Like he is a product of all of those different things coming at once. If I had to like compare a style, it's kind of like that style that like pocket that Bryan Danielson or Chris Jericho when he was good are in.
Yeah, it's
that like pocket of like, I'm gonna take all these things and I'm gonna make them my own.
The man has a moveset.
Swerve is basically a true student of the game. He adapts everything that he's learned over the years, and you kind of see it whenever he's in the ring.
Yeah. So a great match. Swerve now number 1 contender, and when we get to the end of the show, he gets involved instantly at the end of this pay-per-view, which is very cool. They waste no time going into that feud. And then this train wreck of a match in the best way possible. Yeah. Like, match number 4 of the night, Kazuchika Okada versus Brody Lee for the Continental Championship.
Brody King.
Brody King.
Brody Lee is very dead.
Brody King. God damn, this match was fun.
Man.
Yeah,
I love it, man.
I think we summed it up to Brody King was just allowed to beat the shit out of Okada for 15 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much what most of this match was. Brody King was chopping the shit out of him, slamming him around. Like towards the end of this match, you can just take a good look at Okada, and he looked like he just stepped straight out of a car accident. He
looked like he was whipped. He was whipped like a young boy.
Yeah. He got demolished in this match. Yeah.
And a technically not clean finish either, where Okada retains over Brody after hitting him with the title, leading into a Rainmaker. So Okada could not put Brody away on his own. He had to cheat, like he did with Buddy Murphy. So is Buddy Murphy, Buddy Matthews, one of the two?
Buddy Matthews.
They keep changing like one name no matter which promotion they go to, and it's like, guys, please.
Just call him Buddy. It just makes it simpler.
Just like Ricochet, just staying Ricochet.
Right.
Nobody can copyright that. So,
basically.
Just a fun cool down kind of match. I mean, it's still energetic, but after everything with the Swerve Ricochet match and then what we'd be getting in the next few matches, this was placed good on the card to kind of keep the energy going, but also kind of lower the hype down a little bit. Just some fun wrestling. And Okada still being comedy while being one of the best wrestlers in the fucking world. Like
bored to be a silly little guy forced to lock in.
Yeah. I liked it. I mean, I love Brody King. I love Okada. These two guys have insane chemistry.
Man, this just puts Brody King. I mean, we really need to do something with Brody King though, because I think a match like this was just basically a giant showcase for him, and I hope somewhere down the line he gets a challenge again for the Continental title or something else.
The fact that he's not immediately like shit canned because they lost what's his name? Malachi, yeah. That's already a good sign for him. Like, well, he's still being showcased in a pay-per-view. He's in the Eliminator tournament.
They lost Malachi, and these guys are being shown more. So it's like, I think it's like, I don't want to talk shit, but like, I think I know where the problem laid. Like,
it's like I said, man. Some people just
time.
Yeah, some people just good for other environments, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
Malachi fits in better with WWE, and you know, just kind of gives Brody and Buddy, you know, time to shine.
I've mentioned this before on this show of where there are certain people where the regimented, like you're doing this and then this and you work 3 shows and you go home for a day, you come back, work Raw, do da 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 da. That works really well for some people. There are type A's out there who love that. And then there's more people who like the more relaxed, you know, circumstantial, you know, work as much as you want, take time off as you need it. That style that AEW gives you, there's people who love that. And trying to force what you like into trying to force the way you want to work into a promotion that is not going to work that way is not going to work. And we've seen that all the time. We saw that time and again in WWE, where all these legends who work, you know, 3 dates a year, like Brock Lesnar or whatever, people hated them.
Yeah.
And the people who try to do like squeeze as much time as they can, like, yeah, you get your name out there, but you burn yourself out real quick while everyone else is just kind of like, the fuck is your problem when you're at AEW?
Yeah, that's a major problem with overexposure sometimes. You know, you just kind of have to learn to pace yourself. You know, learn to pick your spots and be effective. And I think AEW talent's really good at that. You know, they're really good at, you know, picking their time to shine.
And you're able to wrestle, you know, other places like, hey, you're going to be on the show, you know, on Wednesday, but we don't have you for anything else. And then they're like, cool, I'm going to go work this indie, you know, over the weekend. And like, I think we posted it in the Discord here, the Chris Bay, like, show that they're doing to like raise money and everything. We got wrestlers from everywhere. We got a WWE wrestler on the same card as an AEW wrestler. And I'm like, just more of that. I want more promotions to just let their people wrestle wherever.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's for a great cause too. You know, shout out to Chris Bay. You know, I hope he gets better. I hope he continues to improve. You know, and I wish all the best for him, man.
Well, Hechicero is a good example of this because he's wrestling tonight in the Eliminator tournament against Orange Cassidy.
And I love Hechicero. Like, every time the man's been on TV, I'm like, I love this guy.
Yeah, he's great. He doesn't do all the normal stuff you expect with the luchador. He just like
he's a bigger guy.
Ground pounds you.
Yeah, he's a bigger dude. So it's like,
so he's wrestling tonight in the Eliminator tournament, and on Sunday he's going to be in Rev Pro.
Yeah,
I really wish
I don't think he's actually contracted at AEW.
He's not. He's just one of their.
No, he's still contracted to CML, and I wish CMLL had like more of a exposure in North America. Because
this is a good way to get it, because they have. I think I saw like the Rev Pro show also has. I think it's the Rev Pro show. It has like Atlantis and Blue Panther and everybody wrestling on it too, I think. So they're getting exposure. It's just slow, but like AEW has helped open that door, I think, to you know, a wider audience for these guys.
Yeah, I would like to see CMLL on American television more, because AAA, I've got my issues with AAA as a whole.
Man, fuck Conan.
Yeah. I was gonna say, we just say fuck Conan.
Yeah.
That's
fun. Yeah, I mean, a fun Continental Championship match. The rumor mill is spinning that it's going to be Okada, Kenny at All In. They've already teased it in a unification to combine the two titles into a single title and kind of make it like their intercontinental title for AEW. The work rate, you know, title, which I think would be great. Both these titles do kind of serve as the work rate ones, so making a single title for it would open up a lot of doors to like a certain section of your roster. It's like, you guys are always going to be fighting for this because you guys are the guys to do it. Like,
and blossom for it.
Yeah, it'll open the division up more, at least in general.
Because right now, I think the Continental.
I think they tried the experiment of having multiple belts, and it doesn't really work in the way that they wanted it to. I think they wanted more people on the roster to have prestige, and you can't just slap a belt on people. And
and the thing was go ahead.
Oh, and I would also still keep the Continental Classic, but like the winner would get a shot at that whatever they're gonna combine the belts into. Which, if it is the AEW Intercontinental Championship, if they do name it as such. Just keep the tournament and have the winner be the number one contender for that, like the G1.
Didn't both times that we've had the Continental Classic so far, the person who had the Continental title also just had another belt for some reason?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I was.
I said from the jump that was stupid.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to say. It's like the Continental Championship is only ever won in these tournaments, so just making it like a the winner gets a match for the Intercontinental would be just, it made more sense and take a title out of the picture.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I just love tournaments. AEW loves tournaments, and all these tournament wrestlers that they have in these tournaments are great. Like, it's never a bad tournament. So
yeah, they've got some pretty interesting matchups.
Match number 5.
Yeah,
Syndicate versus Outrunner. Love both these teams.
I didn't get to catch a whole lot of this match because I was busy at work.
Yeah, you were working.
I was watching this
it
while at work. Yeah, but hey, it worked.
Yeah, it's a simple match, nothing crazy, just further showcasing, Hurt Syndicate dominance. I saw people complaining that this should have been a squash match, and I don't think so. The crowd loves the Outrunners. You can't just you can't just destroy them in 30 seconds to end the match.
No, you can't.
And it wasn't that competitive either. Sure, the Outrunners got a lot of offense in, but then when they did, like, Lashley kind of no-sold it, and it's like that was part of the match. It's like, oh, no matter what we're doing, you guys aren't going down. And then it's just further showcase Shelton Benjamin being a beautiful striker. Those fucking step up knees are so good.
Yep. CM Punk could never.
But I love the Outrunners. I mean, they also outsold merch, I think, in August of last year as like the top merch sellers. So they have money on these guys.
Yeah. Yep.
Just at some point.
I would love to see a training montage of these guys. The 80s style like vignettes of like training montages.
And
of
every
them,
vignette
like,
they have
getting
put
into
out.
shape.
Every vignette they have put out has been recorded on tape. Like, they have a tape camera that they recorded all on.
They have a big ass camcorder.
That's what we did.
Yes.
So did they actually like record on one of those old 1980s cameras?
Yes,
Yeah,
and then they put it digital.
Okay, so because I thought that was like kind of a filter they used there. That's actually a really cool trick.
No, they record shit on like older cameras and
nice,
like digitize it and everything. But it's like it's all recorded on old hardware to give it that look, which is great.
That's sick.
These guys are solid. These guys live the gimmick. It's so good, and like the fans love them. Like, everybody loves the Outrunners. And
yeah, they're a solid tag team, man. They really are.
I don't know who they were before they became the Outrunners. I think they weren't brand new into wrestling.
They started in 2021 as the Outrunners. Like,
that's amazing to me.
And the thing is, like,
that's really dope.
We were looking it up during this match too. Like, these guys are in like upper 30s and 40s. Like, these guys started wrestling late and they're this popular and this good. Like, don't fumble this, Tony, please.
These guys were probably like insurance adjusters or some shit before this.
Hey man, listen, DDP started at 35 and he became a 3-time world champion, so anything's possible.
There's still time for me.
I think stalker gimmick in WCW. Or WWE.
Yeah, they gave that.
Even though these guys they started late, they've gotten hot really fast. Unfortunately, they're still trying to build up the Hurt Syndicate as this big badass threat. So wasn't time for them to win the titles yet. Somewhere down the line, they have to give them a shot at this, though.
Yes.
They got to crown them at some point before this gets cold.
And that's why I'm saying I really want them to hit those vignettes of just them going to the gym, like doing the 80s montages to Danger Zone or something.
Yeah. Nothing crazy. Just a good match. Nothing over crazy. Just a very solid tag match. And I would say, aside from I'm probably going to put the last match as the worst match of the night. This is definitely just a match that was here to like calm the crowd down because of the shit that happens next. Like,
yeah. Oh God, you are so right.
So they're like, all right, cool. Let's just go have 12 minutes was this match? Yeah. So 12-minute tag
match,
an 8-minute tag match. They did enough, and it makes Bobby Lashley and Shelton look great. And these guys really made the Hurt Syndicate look good. Because I mean, Outrunners are big dudes. Like, they're not like small opponents. They're actually like big dudes. And then 12 minutes of cinema.
An absolute mayhem.
This feud from beginning to end has been gold. And if it has been RJ City booking this, God damn, Tony, keep him. Like,
If this was
Is the
man, the head writer.
what do
yeah.
they call this?
This is the Hollywood ending.
The Hollywood ending.
Toni Storm versus Mariah May for the AEW Women's Championship. Right off
Toni
the
Storm
bat,
doesn't even get to come out.
Toni Storm hits the ramp. Mariah hits the fucking ramp. Like, it is go right from the start. And in the first 2 minutes, we have Luther going over a table. And I think in the first 3 minutes, we have Toni busted open on the steps. Like,
Yep.
These two ladies went right at it. And
It was cinema. I want to use that GIF, cinema.
And I'm just gonna say, in 12 minutes, we got Toni being attacked on the steps, Luther going over a table, Toni being busted open on the steps, the glass bottle duct tape fists, the glass being shattered between the legs, which was crazy. Both of them bleeding. The glass being slammed on the glass, the shoe that started it all. And it's just 12 minutes. There was just no time.
By the way,
there was a brief, there was a brief stun gun tease, and that's what sent Luther over the table. He tried to get away from her, and she kicked him over the table on stage, where he laid, I think, the rest of that match. So,
Yep.
but then it also dawned. It's I think we're talking about it. You're like, oh my god, that is that guy for Luther, because it's he looks so different.
He does.
That
man,
man
it's weird when he's not in a singlet and rolling a D20.
That man debuted as a member of the Nightmare family.
He sure did.
And he's now in this role. Good job sticking with it, Luther. And Toni,
Luther
good job for keeping
man.
Luther. Well, he's also been when he was a tag team with Serpentico, he was also one of their jobbers. So, I mean, he had job security to make everybody else look better.
Luther has versatility.
Didn't he also team with, God, I forgot his name.
Helica.
The guy, no, the guy who records the Young Bucks.
Brandon Cutler.
Brandon Cutler.
That's him.
I don't think so.
Who the hell tagged with Brandon Cutler? Who their whole shtick was he would roll a D20 and then they would go to the ring.
That was when him and Peter Avalon were tag teaming.
Fuck,
right?
It was Avalon, huh? Yeah,
I think that was after their AEW Dark feud, which was one of the best feuds that they've ran on AEW Dark, where it was these guys who constantly lost eventually wrestled to who could get the win first. It was such a good dumb feud, and I'm I kind of miss Dark for those kind of stories, because I was invested in Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler, and they were just never on TV, and I'm God, it's so good.
I miss AEW Dark
a little bit,
It gave us the acclaimed.
So the shoe is back, still covered in blood.
Yep.
On top. Oh, also at some point they went off the stage through a table. At the start of this match. So there was that too.
Soon into the match.
2 or 3 minutes in, right after Luther goes through the table, Toni goes off the stage with Mariah. This match was a train wreck in all the best ways. Toni beats Mariah with the shoe. I mean, both of these women are busted open, and then she hits Storm Zero through the table at the top of the stage, where we were like, are those crash pads? They were like, no, it's just some boxes for them to get on. And then she gets the pin on the ramp, because this was a no DQ falls count anywhere match. And laying on top of Mariah at the top of the stage, Toni gets the win. There's a big old "the end" on the screen.
that camera shot.
And the thumbnail, if you're watching this video, the thumbnail for this video is just one of the shots from that of just Toni Storm laying over in unconscious Mariah May. And I'm this story was
cinema.
so good. So good.
Absolute cinema.
From front to finish, start to finish, this was quite possibly the best feud in all of AEW right now. In the 5 years of this company, this feud did one of two things. It set the bar for the rest of the women's division. I hope we get more like it. And it turned into one of those generational feuds that's going to be remembered in their video packages forever and ever.
Yeah.
Peak.
This is the definitive women's feud.
They need to treat this, though, like Hangman and Swerve. Whenever Toni and Mariah see each other, it's on site.
They're swinging.
Yeah.
It just needs to be that. You can't have these women, in multi-women matches, just, not focusing each other. anymore. Like this has to be on site. I'm going to lay you out like rivalry.
I want like 6 months down the line where, they've gone and done their own thing. Just a random backstage segment where one of them's talking, the other one just runs up on them and it starts over again.
If we get we get more of the casino battle royales, it'd be fun to get all that going. But we were joking about it. I'm pretty sure these two watched the Britt Baker Thunder Rosa feud and we're like, we can top that.
And for the most part, they did.
And they did, yeah.
It was a really, really good match. And this is where the brakes are off. The brakes are failing. The train is going. There's no stopping it. It does not stop from here on out.
It's speed. You have to go 60 and up.
Yes. Because after the mayhem that is Toni and Mariah, we get I'd probably say the best match on the card. Takeshita versus Omega. I think this was my match of the night.
I think so as well.
Because Ospreay Fletcher is fun chaos. This match is like one of those matches. If you don't like wrestling, go watch this match and you will love wrestling.
Yes.
Also, anybody who's new to wrestling needs to go watch this because this was a clinic. This is I don't know, 45 minutes, something like that.
How long
was this match?
8 minutes, 28-30.
Oh, 28 minutes.
30 minutes
was one of my favorite matches of the season. Takeshita and Omega just work so well together.
They have that history too, DDT.
DDT and all that. Back when Omega had a mohawk, which they saw a video package, I was like, that's insane. But these two are just so good together. It's crazy.
So let's set the stage here of how we got to this point. This is for the AEW International Championship. Going into this match was Takeshita. One of the biggest stars right now in the wrestling world. He is signed to 3 companies. It's insane. The fact that Omega is even back in a wrestling ring is literally nothing short of miraculous. And I think we talked about the fact that he is still alive. Is incredible. After having all the stuff with his body, then the diverticulitis, the fact that Kenny Omega can come back into a ring and do this shit. This man is constructed differently. He is he is the upgrade. He is human too.
He was out for so long, and he was near death. I'm pretty certain a couple times, and he comes back at Wrestle Kingdom, and he's not only is he fine, doesn't look like he have any ring rust, but he's come back a lot better than he was before. Coming back from that is miraculous, but him being able to do what he does now, that's insane to me. That man.
His second week back, he moonsaulted off the audience, off the crowd. Yeah. His second week back.
So I just to give people a crash course on what diverticulitis is. You have your diverticula, which are like these pouches that form the inner lining of your large intestine on your colon. Those inflame, and when they inflame, it hurts. You're in so much pain, and it is more often than not fatal. And so sorry for the medical lesson here, guys, but I'm studying to be a pharmacist over here, so
this needs to be said because you need to understand that coming back on something like that is absolutely incredible, and Kenny came back better than he ever was. And this match, man,
to do this shit after coming back.
Yeah, after coming back. He came back and produced the top 10 match of the year so far.
Yeah. You're in March, folks.
It's March.
The man is human too. He is the upgrade.
He's almost cyborg like.
Yeah, it's insane. This match for 30 minutes never slows down. These guys pace this match perfectly. There's action outside the ring. There's action with tables, action with chairs, false finishes. It's everything. This is a pure wrestling match, and these motherfuckers were dressed as Hajime no Ippo characters.
Yeah, fucking
these weebs put on this match.
And the crazy part was I noticed that and I was like, this has got to be from some kind of anime or something. Because Kenny
I never saw him wear the blue.
Has.
Yeah, he wore like the blue and white, and I was like, I've never seen him wear those. That has to be something, but I couldn't place what it was. And then we posted the picture in the Discord, and I was like, that motherfucker. It's like
got us again.
Wrestling weebs.
Yeah, it's just, oh my god, dude. It's like, this match is like, it's slow and methodical, and then it like explodes into this action, and then it slows back down perfectly to like these exchanges, and then it explodes again, and then it's like just back and back. And like there was the part of like he hits the like wild power bomb, or he flipped the power bomb onto Takeshita, and it led into, you know, him taking a knee, getting the kick out, him taking another knee, getting a kick out at like roughly about 3. And then he takes a third knee and kicks out at 1. And it's these like little decisions in the match where it's like he's down for almost 3, kicks out at 1, and we're just like, what the this man knows how to put on a match. Like, it's insane.
Absolutely.
And then for whatever reason, Kenny decides he wants to test his stomach out because he took like a spot on the table, like on the
outside.
side, like the table flipped on the side, and he took like a spot on the table, landing stomach first on the edge of the table. I'm like, why is Kenny doing this?
Kenny's like, I'm trying to test out the warranty. It's
like I want to know if this. I want to test this out. I want to see if this is double tough. You know, so I don't know, man. Like, Kenny is
so
built
good. Dude.
Kenny is not built correctly.
He wasn't. No, he was built incorrectly with the diverticulitis, and then got it fixed, and now he was constructed new parts.
This man said, hey, I almost died, so I might as well just try to test his stomach out and see how it's going. I'm still good.
Yeah, Don Callis again gets involved. This is one of Don Callis's guys, Takeshita, so Don is going to be on commentary. He's still great on commentary. He's a perfectly hateable heel.
He's still the best person on commentary, including the 5 people that were on commentary.
God, all that night too, we're just like, shut the fuck up, Taz, please. Like... Taz, it's just like, Taz, you can stop.
If anyone has more go home heat than Chris Jericho, it's Taz.
It's like, stop trying to put yourself over. Like,
okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, but in Taz's defense, every now and then he does have a good zinger or two.
He does, but like every other thing was something Jones. Like he's like doing the meme to death now.
He's trying to get all his catchphrases in. That's all.
It's a shotgun blast in the face every time. Like, yeah, one's gonna hit.
Yeah, so Don tries to get involved. There's a big series of counters and exchanges, and then Kenny wins just with a crucifix pin. Nothing, big finish or anything. Just catches Takeshita lacking and gets the pin and becomes the international champion. Which this feud probably isn't over for all things considered.
Not by a long shot.
Takeshita's probably going to come back. So I mean, these two, I want these two to wrestle forever. Like they're just that good.
Is Takeshita in the eliminator tournament?
I don't know, but I also know there's like 3 wild cards.
No, he's not. There's 1 wild card in this tournament from what I'm looking at right now. Yeah, there's 1 wild card and Takeshita is not in this tournament. Yeah.
Okay.
However, Takeshita probably might be going, I don't know what they're going to do with Takeshita, but I think he is signed with New Japan Pro Wrestling. He is never overweight champion still, last time I remember, so...
He's probably going to wrestle in New Japan for a bit.
For a bit. Yeah. He's going to go back and forth, so...
Yeah. Takeshita is the total package of a wrestler. Sure, he probably... If he went to WWE, they probably wouldn't know what to do with him. He doesn't speak that great of English. But as a wrestler, he is everything. Like, this company knows how to use him.
It seems that the wild card will be revealed today.
Who's going to be revealed, and then somebody's going to be revealed, and somebody's going to get jumped by Takeshita. Like,
I would love that.
It's like cool. The wild card is Brandon Cutler, and then Takeshita just lays him out. And it's like, no, I'm taking his fucking spot. I want my title back. Like,
I'll talk about the rest of the card after we were done here.
Yeah. If you want to watch a great wrestling match, I know there's been a few matches on this card that haven't been like insane spot fest, but just good wrestling matches where it's like, if you want to get somebody into wrestling, show them this match. This is one of those matches. It really is. Like,
and once again, we probably said this, you know, so many times already until we're blue in the face. Takeshita's a generational talent. I don't know what else to say about him. You know, the dude is just a generational talent.
I've been on this man since he showed up in AEW, in AEW Dark at that.
Yeah.
And
I've been about this man.
What was it? He showed up, and then like in the first 3 weeks, he wrestled against like Bryan Danielson, Hangman, Adam Page, and Kenny.
Yeah.
Like in his first like 3 weeks.
Banger after banger.
First 3 weeks in like a major American company, and it's like, oh yeah, we're signing this guy. Like, absolutely.
Yeah, no, he's
it's like
smart move.
Absolutely. So like this is a great wrestling match. I was thoroughly hyped. This match, however, kind of helped kill the crowd because they had no energy going into this next madness of a match.
Mm-hmm.
Where we get what I hope is the blow off of this feud. But it could also be leading to another feud based on stuff that is happening in this match. I think Ospreay may go for Davis now, maybe in a short feud. Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage, the 10th steel cage in the 6 years of AEW. They do use it very sparingly. Every, twice a year isn't bad for big feuds. This match was chaos incarnate in like the best and worst ways at time. Like, so we start off just saying, just like a new presentation for Ospreay. He still has elevated, but he kind of has like a digitized like circuitry on his like jacket and everything now, and like his new shit that was going on before the theme song hit. Feels like every pay-per-view we get like a new thing for Ospreay, because the last one he came out with like the Punisher looking gear on too. So it might just be pay-per-view specific for all of his stuff.
Probably.
I do like the Punisher gear he came out in though. I hope we can see that again. These two make it clear that they hate each other, because in the first 3 minutes of this match, Ospreay has a complete crimson mask.
Yeah.
Fletcher is wearing his bloody kick pads from where he beat him up in the last pay-per-view. And this match is just two guys doing this for the love of the game. Like, there is some dumb shit that happens in this match in like the most affectionate way I can say it. There's some dumb shit that happens. We get thumbtacks, the super Spanish fly from the top of the cage, which is an insane thing to. I want to know how the conversation started when Ospreay brought that up to Kyle Fletcher. It's like, hey man, I'm gonna hit you with a Spanish fly off the cage, and Kyle Fletcher probably for a second hesitated and said, "All right." Like, it's just
how we both feel about being Shane McMahon tonight.
Shane McMahon moments.
Yeah.
The thumbtacks come out, which is kind of a thing that we expected, like these big blow-off feuds. I think even Hangman and Swerve used them in both of their death matches. But then he picked them up into like the Styles Clash. And we were like, oh no.
Onto the thumbtacks.
Yeah, we were like, oh no, he is going to Style Clash this man onto the thumbtacks. And he does. And I feel so bad for Fletcher's chest. And you can see it on camera. There were some in his trunks too, like stuck. And I'm like, I think I made the joke with the, during the Tony Storm match too, after the glass bottle got broken. It's like they were pulling shards of glass out of Juice Robinson's pelvis tonight. I think I said the same thing for Sky Blue when Kyle got the thumbtacks in his fucking trunks. Yeah, these two guys beat the hell out of each other in a really good death match, cage match. Mark Davis gets involved. Bolt cutters the lock instead of just bolt cuttering the chain. I don't know why. It just doesn't. It's like, bro, it's probably easier to just do the chain. And And then he gets hit in the face by a door that I don't think he was ready for. Because he swings it open and then Ospreay just sends it, and it doesn't look like Mark has any time to put his hand up at all.
Because it looked like he stumbled on the steps a little bit, you know.
Trying to get into the ring.
Trying to plant his feet, and then Ospreay just kicks the door right into his face, and he just goes flying. I was like, "Oh, that looks like
and when we see him again, his head's busted open. He's not even in this match, and he's bleeding. Like,
yep.
I think my only complaint about this match is the Spanish Fly should have been the finish.
Yeah,
I think there are too many false finishes in this match for sure.
There was a lot. I think when you hit the Super Spanish Fly, though, I think that's the finish of the match. But Fletcher kicks out, it then goes into, a hidden blade, and finally finishes off with the Tiger Driver. Which is kind of the crux of this story. He did it to Danielson, refused to do it. Callis wanted him to do it. He didn't do it. Fletcher betrayed him because he thought he was weak. And now he finishes the feud with Kyle Fletcher using the Tiger Driver. Nice little long-term storytelling from Ospreay involving this move. So, because he did it without hesitation too for this one, where like previous months he's like hasn't wanted to do it. So nice little callback to like what ultimately started this feud, realistically. And Kyle Fletcher, great character work, going out like just saying he hates Ospreay. Just defiant to the end. And every time Kyle wrestles, man, he's so good. And he's young. Yeah. Like, so much potential.
All these matches with Ospreay have just made Kyle a bigger and bigger star each and every time around. This kid is building towards the main event. It's going to take him about another couple years or so. But he is well on his way thanks to Ospreay, man. I mean, this feud just made him a much, much bigger star. And you can tell he's completely talented also. He pulls off some insane moves. And I love that little shotgun drop kick that he does. It looks brutal as hell.
Yeah, and I mean, even the matches that Kyle has had against other people, he's looked great, and it's good. It's great to see that, because when Mark Davis got injured, I was thinking like, can Fletcher survive as a solo act, usually being a tag team wrestler?
The answer is apparently yes.
He absolutely can, and Mark Davis is still being great as like an ally to Kyle Fletcher, even if they're not explicitly a tag team anymore. He's just like, he's another Don Callis enforcer, which I think is a great role for him, given the circumstances they're in right now. With this Kyle Fletcher push and everything, and the tag team not being a thing. Davis looks like a good enforcer, so he could be a good Don Callis enforcer. And people can say they hate Don Callis. I think having this stable of heels is always good for a company, because it gives you a unified guy to just fucking hate him and his lackeys.
And everyone points at them and like, you're a piece of shit. And he's like, yeah, but your mother.
Yeah, and Don Callis is this generation's Bobby Heenan. I mean, even though, Heenan was just great in his own right, Callis is just right up there with him. He's a total asshole. The crowd loves to hate him. Yeah. He fills this role completely.
And he's
just great at it.
And he's responsible for most of his guys' losses. So it's like, it helps like the heels try to cheat and get their comeuppance. And like him getting involved led to Takeshita losing, and him trying to get involved with Fletcher led to Fletcher losing. This is this running theme with the Don Callis family, is that he fucks you over in your matches.
Yep.
He gives you short-term success, but long-term losses.
Yeah. These two matches really represent the high point of this pay-per-view in terms of just the raw energy of it. Like, we had a very good climb to this, and then it peaked. And then this bullshit happened. Yep. Where, thinking about this match since Sunday, I don't know who booked this match or if they were trying to call it on the spot. But I felt like, and I don't mean it like disparagingly, this felt like these guys were trying to wrestle their WWE styles. But to do that at the end of a card like this, I don't think was the best decision.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
I did not like this match. I thought
it was slow.
Fine initially. It was slow. I think Edge is somebody who works better in a WWE style. I think, well, Cope, whatever. I think he works better in that style. I don't think he needs to be working with all these young bucks, because no pun intended, because they're just going to go faster than him, and he has to have special opponents, or they're going to, or they're just going to, run circles around him.
Now, what I think is going to happen, let's just establish here, it's Jon Moxley versus Cope for the AEW World Championship. He has spent the last 2 weeks prior to this taking out the rest of the Death Riders to ensure that Moxley is alone. And yeah, it's this match was slow. There was a lot of ref stuff going on. They wrestled it very slow. There wasn't a lot of action in this. It was just a bunch of nothing at times. And even when they try to get the chairs involved, the ref would get involved in Moxley, and the ref were still kind of going at it. He eventually does get taken out, and some other stuff goes on. And then we get the cash in. And I will admit, this got me hyped. I was like, let's go. Even if it just becomes a 3-way, normally I'm like, this adds a little bit of spice to something. Maybe they started this match slow to get to this moment, and now the match will, pick up.
Yeah, I thought this was this is the real match now.
Yes, it's okay, so these two were wrestling for 10 minutes. Now Christian's here. Now we get another 15 of action where these three are now trying to best each other to win the title. Because adding a third person is Edge can pin Christian now to lose Moxley the title. And I was like, okay, cool. I have a little bit of hope. And then Christian loses the match for Cope after a failed cash in, and Moxley retains. And oh man, talk about just a whoopee cushion going off at the end of this card.
A wet fart. It's that horse with the flaming
I will,
horse,
however,
with, the stupid horse in the front.
I will, however, say I see Christian Cope being the dynasty match because of this.
Sure.
It's hey man, I had a world title shot. You lost it for me because of your greed. And that gets Cope into a new feud and gives us Swerve Moxley for dynasty. And that puts Christian and Cope on the card,
Yeah.
So
this is about as 2019 WWE as you can get. This whole match
with Jon Moxley and Edge.
And the thing is,
I hated this fuck.
I don't think it's these guys' fault. I don't think it's them as wrestlers. It's just how this match was planned and booked. Because apparently, if everything is true, this cash-in angle popped up 2 days before the event started. Because I think they didn't really have a plan for the cash-in. And Christian suggested, hey, let's...
But see, that's my whole problem with it. That's my whole problem with this cash-in. They ran this, and they teased this for months on end after Christian won the thing. Okay, so you get to a pay-per-view like Revolution, and you just waste it just so you can have Moxley go over.
And it's not even long after, too. It's 5 minutes after the cash-in.
Less than 5 minutes after the cash-in. Like I said, this is about as 2019 WWE as you could get here. Okay, this is a poorly planned match. All right, and the cash-in was stupid. I hated the finish. This was just not good. Okay, and there's a lot of issues with the world title scene right now that revolves around stuff like this. And it's about time we need to get the belt off of Moxley so we can reset this whole world title scene.
I think if Christian wrestled in at the top of the card for some reason or on the pre-show, and then he came back and then Moxley beat him in 5 minutes, whatever.
Yes, but Christian was not on the card. That's
he was not on the card at all.
He was fresh. He came in and lost fresh to somebody who had been wrestling a wrestling match. And I'm just I will say that I think in terms of match finish, I think in terms of pay-per-view finishes, this is definitely the weakest card they've had so far. I think this barely, in terms of being bad, this barely beats out the Devil reveal in terms of being their worst pay-per-view ending.
Yeah.
Because the Devil one was bad. because we all know the Devil storyline. It was bad. It was sidelined by injuries, and then like we all knew it was going to be Adam Cole, and then they tried to play it off like this big thing. But this one was just a bad booked finish.
Yeah. At least the Devil storyline had, Adam Cole shattering his whole foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those.
Nothing.
This is one of those endings that just did not stick the landing at all.
I will say, Swerve saved it for me.
We did. So the ending of this match was bad. The match itself was bad. Let's rephrase. The ending of this match was bad. Christian cashing in and losing it for Cope was bad. The pay-per-view did end on a high note with Nana coming out to confront Moxley, and then Moxley looking like he's about to beat the shit out of Nana, only to eat a swerve stomp.
Down.
Yeah, only to eat a swerve stomp from Swerve jumping off the fucking tunnel entrance, the stands.
The entrance railing.
Yeah, the entrance railing, and standing tall over John Moxley to end the show, which I think great
that
visual.
Was a good ending.
Good visual,
that was
too.
A great pay-per-view ending. The match was dog water.
Yes. It ends with like the pull out shot of like Swerve standing there, the crowd saying Swerve's house. Like this crowd is behind Swerve in this feud already.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting to see the decision-making process. My fantasy booking is the Death Riders are still getting involved, and Swerve has to go to somebody equally crazy for help, and that's where we get to the Swerve Hangman alliance for a brief time. He's like, hey, you hate Moxley too, right? Like,
I will give you a shot at this title if you help me now.
If you murder his lackeys for me.
Swerve Hangman match.
It's like, hey, Hangman, if you murder the Death Riders for me and let me go one-on-one with Moxley, I will give you a title shot if I win.
Either way, I just need this Death Rider storyline to come to an end.
The Death Rider storyline,
I'm completely done with it.
It started with promise, and then they just did nothing.
I mean, they started by suffocating Bryan Danielson. So.
The debut of the faction and the Impact was great, but then nothing of note happened at all. It was just weekly Moxley beating down people with his goons. There was no overarching storyline.
It became another version of the Shield. That's what it did. It became like the Shield of the Bloodline. It just defaulted to that, and I was like, this was disappointing.
It became the Bloodline in bad ways. Like it became the Bloodline in bad ways. The idea of the Death Riders being taken out and Moxley having to defend it one-on-one, I think is a good change to that. And then having Christian lose it, I guess, does fuel a Christian Cope feud for Dynasty, gets those guys on the card, and those guys are great. Like they probably they can wrestle great matches against each other. Yeah. But yeah, I think Moxley, he is the ace of the company in a way, but all these new guys have also shown up to prove that, like, hey, we can carry this company too. And I think it's time that this storyline has to change. Like Moxley doesn't have to go away. What he's doing is fine. It's just the storyline sucks. Like Moxley is one of AEW's like guys, so he's always going to be there. Yeah. The storyline though needs to just hit it. The Wheeler turn has to hit on Moxley. Like we need to start building up Wheeler Yuta. Like this whole storyline feels like it should have been doing. So, and then maybe we get Danielson back. I don't know, but
I don't want Danielson back.
The man's dead, so that makes sense.
Well, not
in storyline. He's dead.
I want him to stay. I want him to stay retired. I don't want more people to come back after being retired. We've got Copeland doing it. Yeah. We've got Christian doing it. We've got Danielson possibly doing it. I don't think so. I want him to stay as a booker, or I want him to stay as a someone in creative.
Yeah. And add on to that, there's a whole slew of guys that can main event this scene right now. Pick any of them. Takeshita, Swerve, Ospreay.
Everybody on this card tonight is the main event picture in my mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like everybody, even Brody King is like the lowest on that tier, and that man can still make a compelling argument for main event scene. Like
he's just a large man. He's
like,
a very large, imposing man.
Yeah, like everybody on this card is somebody of main event quality at some point.
Just pick a few of them and start rebuilding the whole world title scene.
That's why I'm
Because
like,
this
Swerve, man. Just put it back on Swerve, please.
and let's start over.
Yeah, it's like we're building, car crash.
Yep. Yeah, it's that meme of the horse that's like
the perfectly drawn horse, and it's just the bad drawing head. Like,
yeah, poorly drawn head.
It really is. But yeah, the pay-per-view did end with a high point of Swerve standing tall. This feud is going to be interesting. These two guys, I think, have only wrestled in the Continental Classic against each other. They haven't had any previous feuds. It's going to be interesting to see Swerve and Moxley's chemistry in the ring in this feud. I mean, these guys can talk. So, like, the promos are probably going to be great, but how does Swerve handle, Moxley's lackeys? It's going to be a whole thing. I foresee Nana becoming a victim at some point. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, Death Rider's probably going to beat him down at some point.
So,
because they'll all be back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, it's fresh, this feud. And I mean, we're going to be hearing tonight from a lot of people about what's next. I think Tony Storm is going to have a promo segment tonight. Kenny Omega is. We have the tournament starting. I think Will Ospreay has a promo tonight too, for whatever his next feud is, or builds to. So this is like the reset after the pay-per-view. Like, all right, let's build the new ones.
We have
the new season.
Willow Nightingale.
Yeah, and Willow Nightingale's still great, and she's still on the card too. Like, their roster is so stacked. Like, even if somebody's not there, they have enough people who can fill their spot reasonably, and everybody appreciates it.
You got enough people for each division now. So I think tonight and from here on out, just start taking advantage of all of the talent you have and putting them in their respective divisions. Because, I mean, anybody could go for a title at this point right now. That's how stacked AEW is. And I think if they do that, these shows will become more compelling.
Oh, absolutely.
I think so too.
And we have a month before Dynasty, so they have 5 weeks to build a compelling feud with Swerve and Moxley, and all these other matches that are going to be going into it. I mean, you give Moxley and Swerve 5 weeks, you can build a compelling feud, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Oh, another important note, with Kenny Omega winning the international title, he is now the first Grand Slam champion in AEW. I
saw that. It's weird because they have the trios titles involved, and I'm like, can we just say like it's the singles titles? It's like
no, because other federations also involve the tag titles.
Yeah, so
he did win the tag belts a while ago,
with Hangman.
A while ago too. With Hangman. He won the trios titles. He has the international title now, and he is world. So yeah. And if he beats Okada, he gets the Continental, and then if they unify it, he's the first intercontinental title. So welcome back, Kenny. You deserve the world, buddy.
Welcome back, Kenny.
Yeah, very fun pay-per-view. I'm excited to see what comes out of this main event. I'm probably going to see. We're probably going to see Cope Christian at either All In or Dynasty.
Hey, that's fine. They have really good chemistry, so
and the thing is, like, I don't mind that match at all.
Yeah,
I reasonably see like that being the build, though. Like, Cope is probably going to be like, "Motherfucker, you lost me my title match, a match you weren't even in."
Yeah.
It's like
you weren't even on this pay-per-view.
Doesn't even go here.
What business do you have?
the Mean Girls doesn't even go here. But yeah, very fun pay-per-view. Find the Takeshita Kenny Omega match 3. Is this their like third pay-per-view match?
Third match.
So watch their whole series. All 3 of their pay-per-view matches were fucking gold. This match was, I think the Kenny Takeshita was my match of the night though, out of this. And that was really hard to top because it was nearly Toni Storm and Mariah.
Yeah, it was like right here for me.
The storyline, because the storyline and all that, I just think, like, I think it just ekes it out a bit, Takeshita and Omega.
Yeah. I think if you want beautiful storyline and storytelling, you go for Mariah and Toni. If you want just pure top tier wrestling,
it's just
you go
wrestling.
Omega Takeshita.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a world class match between those two. Like,
yeah,
this reminds me of all those New Japan matches that Kenny had with his talent over there, and it was fantastic.
Yeah,
that was my match of the night. Also, it was Toni Storm and Mariah May, but Kenny and Takeshita just came out and just absolutely tore it down.
Yep.
Yeah, crazy. So, that is the card. As you people know, we record this on Wednesday. So in a little while, Dynamite's going to get started, but we have also had the Raw of this week.
In about 30 minutes.
Yeah. So I didn't see anything for Raw this week. I'm not on Twitter anymore, so I don't get to see highlights and stuff. Did anything interesting happen?
I got home.
Roman came back and had the most reasonable crash out on the planet.
Yeah.
So
happened.
Fully understood.
We'll call that fair.
Fully understood crash out.
One of my favorite things that happened was there was a tag match. There was a tornado tag match between Kofi and Xavier against Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. Love that Dragon Lee is getting TV time. And the finish was there was a guy that came out with an American styled luchador mask, came out and beat up Ray, put him back in the ring, and then the New Day won. And in the back, because they're interviewing Chad Gable, because it's obviously Chad Gable because he channeled the power of Lucha, and he's like, "No, I didn't do this. That wasn't me out there. I'm telling the truth." And as he's talking with the interviewer, the guy comes out in handcuffs with the security going else. He's like, "I fucking told you."
So, like, do we know who it was, or was it just like
Not yet.
Was it like a local wrestler that just like was hired by Chad Gable?
We don't know yet.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah.
Like that is really funny.
That was my favorite thing that happened. Because he even used like the delayed German suplex that Gable does. So everyone's like, "Oh yeah, that's definitely Chad Gable," and he's like, "That wasn't me. I didn't do that."
Was it a muscular guy or?
No, it was someone that's about Chad Gable's build.
Who the fuck? There's nobody in NXT like that, and I mean, I think Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates are a little bit smaller than him too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think they might be a little taller, but like they're not the same like body size.
They're also
maybe it was Tyler Bates. Who knows?
They're also not American.
They're also not American. Interesting. I wonder. I'm actually curious.
Exactly. It was a good.
God damn it, Chad Gable, you got me again, man.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
He is so good as a character.
And yeah, then there was was it a cage match with Rollins and Punk?
Yes, that's where Roman Reigns came out.
And Roman came back, laid them both out.
Yes.
In the most reasonable and understood crash out of his career.
Yes.
And it is probably definitely building to the triple threat at Mania, like I figured it would. That's a money match. That's your night one. Like that match right there. Because Rollins did the very personal double stomp to him when he was outside the ring just so he could shit talk Punk.
And then Roman came back and very personally tossed him out of the cage.
Yeah. Did they break? I didn't see that. Did they break like the chain link wall again when he threw him out, or was it just like out the door?
No, the cage was just open. Roman just grabbed him and flung him out.
So beat
up against the barricade.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, fun. I'm excited if that is the match one or the night one main event. I feel like that is a good triple threat to have.
Yeah.
For a marquee match.
I think it's going to be like the match before. I think the main event's going to be Jimmy Uso.
It's probably
sorry, Jey
you're right.
Uso
It's probably going to be
versus
Jay Gunther. Yeah,
which is good. It's going to be a great match.
it's going to be a great match.
I think
God.
CM Punk. I think the triple threat is going to happen night 2 because you're going to put all your money matches on night 2.
You're going to start night 1 with the triple threat and end with Cody's fucking title match, and there's just to be like all gas between. Like,
I think night 2 is going to be all gas.
Yeah,
I could see that. Because at some point, we're getting probably KO and Randy on night 1, maybe. Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun, and that's soon, I think.
It sure is. It's in 30-ish days.
Yeah,
a little over a month from now.
So yeah,
2 whole nights.
Wrestling is still fun, and it's mostly because of Chad Gable. I think Chad Gable's the only reason I still like legitimately enjoy WWE at times, because that man will make anything work, and he has no right to do that. It's like
he is.
Like he's going full on this Lucha Underground arc now.
Yeah, so that's another thing we were talking about earlier. Allegedly, TKO has bought the rights to Lucha Underground, which would make sense if you're trying to get the Lucha Brothers. You would want maybe the video history, like, for them.
Funny you said that, because Ray Phoenix, from what I've learned recently, is now a free agent.
Yes, he has been released
with AEW.
I think he was released alongside Ricky and Miro and Malachi. Like, I think he was part of that package. So there is a theory that if they do have the rights to Lucha Underground, that Chad Gable is going for the Gauntlet of the Gods from Lucha Underground, much like Brian Cage did, in order to fight the Luchadors. And honestly, it's a stupid enough storyline that I am there. I am seated. It's like
I love it. I'm looking forward to this.
Because again, Chad Gable can make anything work. He really can. My friend and I had the running joke. He should have been Kurt Angle's son. It's like in that old storyline.
I think it's funnier that it was Jason Jordan, but I think it's funnier for the wrong reasons.
I think but then it was like Jason Jordan had the injury and had, but then Jason Jordan had the injury and had to retire. So I think if you had picked Chad Gable first, he could have kept saying it like now, like it would just be a part of his character now. Like,
just Kurt Angle is famously a fan of the blacks. That just is a thing.
That was an actual joke. He said
Bret Hart. Like Bret Hart, he is invited to the cookout. Like, what's the joke? It's like the only thing a white woman could do for Bret Hart is show him where the black women are. It's like God, wrestling can be so fun and stupid at the same time. I love it.
Yep.
All right, so this has been AEW Revolution. I believe our next episode is Dynasty, and then we get WrestleMania the week after, if my calendar is correct. We'll have to double check that. It's either going to be WrestleMania or Dynasty for the next episode for you guys.
I think it's going to be Dynasty next. I believe Dynasty is on the 9th, if I remember correctly. I got to check.
Oh, I almost forgot. There was another segment that I really liked. There was a segment between Io Sky and Bianca where they were talking to each other. Rhea Ripley comes out, and it's Bianca and Rhea. They both push Io out of the way, and Io just crashes out and slaps both of them. It's like, don't disrespect me. I'm the champion.
I love the crash out.
I've also beaten both of you.
I love the crash out arc of wrestling we have right now. Everybody's having very reasonable crash outs. It's like so what? Dynasty is April 6th.
April 6th.
April 6th.
And then I think the weekend after is Mania, right?
That's 2 weeks after, I think, because WrestleMania is on the 19th and the 20th.
Okay. So yeah, April will have 2 episodes with a week in between. Mm-hmm. We will be getting Dynasty first, so that'll be the next stuff we'll be talking to you guys about, and kind of be the sequel to this episode in terms of feuds that are going on. Yeah. And then the long Mania episode, it is 2 nights.
It's probably going to be a couple hours.
We're going to be talking about like 15 fucking matches. It's going to be
insane.
A lot. I expect a lot to happen, though. We have heel Cena finally. you know, a bunch of cool shit going into Mania, which I'm excited about. And a lot of cool shit going into Dynasty and All In. So right now, again, we say it every time, wrestling is in a great fucking spot right now.
Wrestling is in a great spot. Watch what you like. Don't watch what you don't like.
There's one wild card, right?
One wild card.
Wild card.
Mike Bailey debuted tonight, doesn't he?
Most likely,
Oh shit!
yes.
You might be right.
He's a free agent.
Well,
so
he's also going against Mortos. So like that style, boom, boom, right there.
Yeah, he was supposed to be back in Canada getting his visa figured out like the last few weeks, and he is going to be coming to fucking AEW. I'm like, this is where we get Mike Bailey, isn't it? Right after a pay-per-view.
Most likely, yeah.
Well, you can find out in 15 minutes when it starts as of recording. So hello from the past.
Hello
it's
from the
great
past.
What's his name debuted?
I'm gonna make a thing right now. If you're watching this on Friday, I'm going to say that either Mike Bailey or Josh Alexander debuts tonight for AEW, because Josh Alexander has left Impact. So, and he wants to go to AEW. So, I mean, we have two guys that could very legitimately debut tonight. So, and I'm excited
It's
for it.
going to be neither of them. It's going to be
neither of them. It's going to be it's going to be somebody from another. It's going to be one, like SEMA coming back from China.
Milano Collection AT unretires with his invisible dog. Comes out.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking of which, I don't know if those guys are still in contract.
Milano Collection?
No, I don't think those guys are still in contract. Are like SEMA and his team, like T-Hawk and all them, still in AEW, or did they go back to China for like the one promotion?
I think they all went back because I haven't seen them.
They were like part of AEW in like the first year, and then they just kind of like disappeared. So
works for Gleet. Gleet.
Yeah.
What the hell is Gleet?
Oh, that's another Japanese promotion, I think. That's
sure is.
I'm gonna say, to my knowledge, because I know, you know, Noah and New Japan, that's the Impact of Japan, I think. It's like,
sure.
It's like,
I guess.
But yeah,
I always thought Noah was the Impact of Japan, but I don't know.
Maybe. New Japan has always been like top dog over there, so yeah, you know, that's the WWE of Japan. And I like how they're like, stay the fuck out of Japan, WWE. But yeah, so next episode will be Dynasty. Then we're covering WrestleMania. If my guesses came true tonight, you guys will see us on Friday, and understand that I am cursed with the power of prophecy. So
he's not. It's gonna be someone else.
Yes, I have the power of hindsight. Again, follow us on Spotify or Pandora, wherever you guys listen to your audio. We have a whole page in the description down below that'll take you to every audio site that we have something on. So if you don't listen on Pandora, Spotify, you can find us on like Google Podcasts or Audible Podcasts, I think is a thing that we're on. So we're pretty much anywhere you can get podcasts for the most part.
Yeah.
My brother in Christ, you upload these. You can tell them where it's uploaded.
Yeah, and we upload to the YouTube, and then I upload an audio file, and it goes to like 15 different fucking sites. I just have it set to auto distribute to everything. So
amazing.
Nice. But we do. I just should point out Spotify though, because that's the most common thing that people use. I listen to all my shit on Spotify. So, but you can watch the videos on YouTube. You can listen to the audio wherever you guys get your audio podcasts, and we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. So, take care, everybody. Wrestling's in a great spot. And
yes, it is.
Keep on enjoying it.